Meeting to order, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just noting that it looks like Commissioner Williams and Commissioner Bolden are not present. It's present. Okay.
Ready for the report? The reports, police, treasurer, code, zoning, solicitor, engineer, manager, and junior commissioner. Do we have the reports?
We're still waiting on getting our two cruisers upfitted. They're down in Ridgeway. They were supposed to be done by now, but unfortunately there was a delay. So we're kind of set back for another 3 weeks on that. So I'll report next month. Hopefully we'll have it.
Was there money in the budget for the cars this year?
This was for, I got the grant and this is for upfitting it. We have to pay it out, but then the state reimburses us 100%.
100 grand.
Yeah, correct.
And then, I'll go ahead, just a few things for me, try not to take up too much of everybody's time. A few different things happened in the past month or two. One of them was some bureaucratic issues with the federal government. Unfortunately, due to some compliance reporting issues, we did run the risk of losing, having to pay the federal government close to $200,000. It's $196,000, but we were able to get that fixed. I was able to submit an appeal, and I had to talk to somebody in DC for a long time, but we no longer will have to pay the federal government 200 grand, which I'm very happy about. We also, we're running the risk of potentially jeopardizing our USDA funding for the Sudan lift station. That's a little over $1.1 million. But that is rectified as well. Again, there's just some compliance reports that we had to do, that needed fixed. For me, the only other couple things I just want to talk about is grant funding. The STAMP grant, which is a grant program that we had become involved with a little while back, and we're now sort of seeing the fruits of that. It keeps getting delayed because of the state. It's nothing we can do. We can't do anything different. I'm just waiting for the state of Pennsylvania to tell us that we can go ahead and move forward with this grant, so that we can look to do things. Stamp granting is good. The stamp grant is looking at things like our comprehensive plan, looking at our building access and maintenance. I think everybody who has to come into this building might know that we have like a whole bunch of different keys, a whole bunch of different keypads and varying degrees of whether or not they actually work. And we do rent the space to a district judge and currently to the state police, and having them not be able to access the building consistently is not really a good thing. So that grant will help cover that. And then the big thing is that grant will help cover professional accounting service. Will significantly reduce that cost to, really to less than even paying somebody in-house, and will allow us to have the benefit of having, a very professional outfit. So those are, just a few of the things for me. And then our new junior commissioner
report.
Hi. About 3/4 of students hear about events and do an engagement report. We hear this from friends, social media, and teachers, but only about 1/2 doesn't help. I heard from when I was talking to them, it's mostly because of lack of transportation, schedule, or lack of information about the event. Many say that having bigger events and more effective advertising that are more involved with youth and what we can do for the youth would be helpful and make them more interested in our events. And they'd also be interested in introducing new concepts into the community to help us. Keeping our community clean. Some solutions I have from that is maybe having more engaging ways to promote things that we, volunteer things like, social media or, having people come over and talk to them about it. And more events for the youth, new concepts that would help the youth, and, events and making events accessible to the youth and providing a good in-depth description for them.
Thanks, Amara. So.
Thank you.
Good job.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on.
Do you need a motion? Yeah, so go ahead. Number 5.
Right. Motion to receive, accept all reports as submitted.
I'll make a motion. Seconded.
Carried. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Acknowledgement of bill payment. Motion to approve console pay application 10 pursuant to USDA loan regulations regarding the Sudan lift station project.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's done now, Spencer?
Yeah, so essentially, there's a punch list. This number 10 is $8,700. And then the last few things left are planting arborvitae around, which they were waiting for the weather to break, so probably next month. So I think we have one more small one left, and then this is totally done. So we did already sign the substantial completion form and indicating that the vast majority of the project is done and that the station's operational, but there are still those few punch list items.
Okay. Motion to ratify bill payments made during February 2026. Motion approved.
I'll motion. Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Approval of prior meeting minutes. Motion to approve minutes for stated board meeting from February 11th, 2026. Motion approved. I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
All in favor? Aye. Consideration of regulation 2026-13, establishing the first ever junior commissioner program in Lawrence Park Township.
Yeah, I'll talk about this a little bit here. So what happened? I received a phone call from from the school district inviting us. Inviting myself and Marcus Jacobs from Wesleyville over to talk to some students about potentially starting a junior commissioner program here in Lawrence Park, and also sort of renewing the junior council person in Wesleyville. They had that program in the past. Lawrence Park had never instituted that program. In establishing the program, I borrowed a lot from townships that already have instituted programs like this, but ultimately, really thought if we had students that wanted to engage with their local government, this is a great way to do it. We can get some additional perspective and also have somebody in the school that can help us, do things like Samari was talking about, coordinating volunteers and, and looking for additional opportunities to, perhaps host events or amend our events to better serve the community where we are.
Okay. That's all we need on that, Spencer.
We do need a motion.
You want a motion to accept that? All right, motion for resolution 2026-13 is explained. Can I get a
I'll
motion?
make a motion. Seconded.
On favor? Aye. Okay, ceremonial appointment of swearing in as let me not butcher your name.
This is Maria.
Demaria as the first junior commissioner for a 1-year term. Let's do that.
Thank you.
I have you come forward. Stay right here. Please raise your. You want,
I got it.
okay, you're good. Please raise your right hand. And then I state my name.
I, Zamaria Club,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully serve
that I will faithfully serve
as the Lawrence Park Township Junior Commissioner.
as the Lawrence Park Township Junior Commissioner,
That I will strive to represent the youth
that I will strive to represent the youth
of our community with integrity, respect, and an open mind.
of our community with respect, integrity, and an open mind,
that I will do my best to learn about the responsibilities
that I will do my best to learn about the responsibilities
of local government,
of local government,
to participate thoughtfully, and to conduct myself in a manner
and to conduct myself in a manner
that reflects positively on Lawrence Park Township.
that reflects positively on Lawrence Park Township.
I accept this role as an opportunity to better serve my community
I accept this role as an opportunity to better serve my community
and to grow as a citizen and a leader.
and to grow as a citizen and a leader.
Congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Township residents' comments. We have a few people signed in today. With Jim Van Dyne.
Good evening. March is the time we begin planning for the Memorial Day service out front of the building. I just spoke with Tom Bookleitner. He has been the master of ceremonies for the past couple of years, and he agrees to do it again. We'll need, like we have in the past, access to this room in case it rains. We usually take the chairs from here and put them out for the residents, plus chairs that we have in the storage room in the back of the office that we use. And we invite, now we have in the past written invitations for the various officials, say the council representative for this district and the different officials in the county government, and then Tom Hoffman? Dan Lovett, excuse me, and Pat Harkins, we invite them and so forth. So we get a minister to give an opening prayer and a closing prayer. We have in the past gotten the people from the veterans, okay, and to show up with a 21 gun salute and a bugler. We may not be able to get them this year. That we're talking about, if we can't, maybe getting someone from the band to do the taps on a trumpet and so forth. But we set it up. But you in the past, the township staff has sent out the letters. We prepare the invitation and then they do the letters and send them out. But if that's a bad idea, it's too much load, we can take it over and do that. And I think you can let us know in the next couple of days, right?
I'm good with, whatever we need to do,
We'll do a form letter for you and then give you a list of names.
We'll figure it out.
Okay, but it's time to begin, and in the past, ever since 2004, we've had only 2 times that it rained, 2024 and in 2004 it rained. But who knows, if we have another sunny day, it'll be great. You guys have any questions for me?
I remember, and I'm talking way back now, Jim. There used to be like, I think, generally it was a Marine reserve in uniform would come, usually a staff or gunnery sergeant. I think one time maybe the XO from the Coast Guard. Has that been done recently? I don't know.
Not the XO from the Coast Guard, but that's a good idea. I'm gonna go write that down when I go back to my seat. But the thing that we've been having is with Legion has a honor guard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I've been under so much pressure, I was remember the honor guard from the Legion. However, they seem to be committed to something else. And they were kind of recommending that I try this other Legion post on the other side of the county. Maybe I can get them to come out. We'll find out.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Boy Scouts will be here too.
Oh, no,
No?
they don't exist anymore. The scouts will be out here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm correct.
Okay. And, yeah, the girls are the boys and they come out and they do a good job. Okay, and, they actually do an excellent job. Or
Sure.
be having them too. Okay, thank you, and I hate to tell you I gotta run, but I have a church, that I'm going to be attending on the other side of town, I gotta run.
Take care.
Okay.
Cheryl Smith. Camp Celebration Grants, I think.
Yeah. Agreed. I see on the news about this America 250 PA Commission. I don't know if any of you are aware of it. But there's like $500,000 in grants there geared towards celebrations this year. So like, my idea is, you know, maybe we can apply for some of these grants. Maybe it'll fund our fireworks. Maybe it'll help with the 100-year celebration. But there's a lot of money there, and it's still a lot of money sitting there, and now's the time to apply.
What's the name of it?
It's America 250 PA Commission. And it also goes through the Erie County Gaming Revenue Authority.
I think on the news tonight, they said it had to be something with the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Isn't that what we're selling? And the 4th of July, isn't that?
that's what I'm saying. Maybe it wouldn't work for 100, maybe we couldn't, maybe the 100-year celebration wouldn't be eligible, but it, like you said, though, it definitely
Call it the
has to, and then I read up on it some, and it said about boroughs, townships, cities, like Pittsburgh got, I forget how much money for a 4th of July celebration there, so it's definitely geared towards 4th of July celebration throughout the country. So maybe we can get some funding through there.
Good idea.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other job for you, Spencer?
Yep.
Good.
No, that's fine. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good to know.
If you need any help, well, Spencer, I can help you with that too.
You can figure it out.
Rick Garmin, traffic light at Rankin.
Good evening, Rick Garmin. I live at 3806 Iroquois. Can anyone give me a status on what's with the red light at Rankin and Iroquois?
I can. And I'm happy to do that. So it's a few different things going on there. So one of the things that I did, I applied for a grant program through the state called Green Lights Go to replace all the traffic signals in the township. You know, and that light is included in you know, as part of that application. Before we, sorry, to get my thoughts right. There's two separate issues. Simply replacing the light to the same status it is, or it was before it got hit, you know, is anywhere, rough estimate, between $60,000 and $80,000. You know, and we did receive one potentially low estimate, but I'm a little suspect of that, and we haven't actually bid the job out. So, you know, few things there. It is pretty expensive. So, you know, the first thing we did was look for this grant application. We actually did, one of the things I didn't mention in my manager's report is we did get accepted in the preliminary application, which means we can now submit a real application to the state to determine. So we sort of crossed that first threshold in that grant process and are now entering that second threshold where I'm going to be working with our engineer to determine whether we can, you know, well, I know we can, the best course of action for or what types of lights and what types of poles and those sorts of things. So I guess for my part, to summarize all this, what I'm trying to do is replace it with something better. If I can't do that, then we do have, we did set aside money in the budget to replace it to be the exact same as it was before.
If it was taken out by a commercial vehicle, how come they're not responsible?
Yeah,
We
so
were not compliant. The height, we were not compliant. We failed to do our maintenance every year to make sure the lights were up to the proper level. We had the state come in and measure it, and we were not compliant. So therefore, it's gonna be back on us.
But how would they measure it after it was damaged?
Well, the way that everything was, they had somebody that could determine the height of the truck so that they knew that the,
the truck was legal.
Does that turn into a little bit of a speedway?
oh, I get
I
it.
mean, It used to be when the light was at Rankin and the light turned green at East Lake Road, Noble, and, that's when you start hearing them accelerate.
Yeah.
Well, now that they're rolling through and there's none, as soon as that light turns green at the Lake Road, you can hear them at Priestley just starting, thinking they're gonna make the light.
We can try to see if we can, put some lines there with the maintenance staff. That way we can enforce it speed wise.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that grant process can take a little while, so I mean, if it, really, like I said, there's other options to get it to the level it was at before. And we can, I mean, I'm happy to, talk about that. If that's a, better course of action, it would be faster, certainly.
I mean, as a resident, it has its pros and it has its cons,
Yeah.
but,
Safety first.
it's, with summer coming up, I imagine it's gonna get a little worse.
I think putting some lines there so we can do some speed enforcement, obviously, where we can only use AccuTrack, so we don't have radar, but so we have to put lines on the road. But we can definitely look at
Well, that
that.
would help.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Well, isn't the problem that we don't have radar in
that's
Pennsylvania?
correct. We're the only state in the United States that does not, for messages.
Talk to your legislators. Chris Buckleitner.
Hello, yeah, I just wanted to ask if you guys could put on your agenda to get an ordinance to have no roosters in our township. Because we have relatively new neighbors who had one last year, and it bothered quite a few people all day long. So if you have it in your time to do that.
Chris, have you been talking to my wife?
No, I haven't. She must have heard it too.
Well, we got one out back of us.
Okay.
And she actually mentioned that. Could we have a rooster ordinance? I was glad to see that.
We all thought we did have one, but I guess we don't.
Nah, it's always been kind of convoluted about the animal ordinances.
So,
But I had no problem doing that.
Yeah,
Thanks.
brought that up a year and a half ago, because somebody actually called me and asked if they could have a horse.
Well, there were snakes. We dealt with a python got loose one time.
I don't know. What address are you talking? And it was actually a Harvard Creek address. I go, talking about around township.
Can't help it. All right. That's it. If them check in, anybody want to make a comment on anything they heard? Bob?
Yeah. In relation to the horse, just tell them it has to live in the house. They have to walk it on a leash. That's not what I came up with. I'm glad to see that the junior commissioner of the thing is good. I believe that's a great thing. In relation to that, I just got part of the story on the news this evening that the junior high from Iroquois, I believe, is going to be conducting a institutional thing. I didn't even catch the date, so I can't tell you.
I'm actually a part of that, so.
Okay. I think that's great. So just wanted to let everybody know.
Great, fine. That's it. Moving on.
there's also something, I work at the polls, and last year we were told at the, for our training, that they were going to have a student at each of the polling places as part of learning civics. But we didn't have one here, so I don't know who needs to call the county and see if they can get in on that.
Okay. Business. Consideration of resolution 2026-14, appointing a delegate and alternate representative to the East County Emergency Medical Services. That's something we've been dealing with for a while. I think we have to do that.
Yeah, we talked about it last month. I was not aware. We appointed alternates and delegates to all the various committees in January. I did not know that the township actually had to formally appoint some folks to this particular agency. Yeah, I mean, if there's any other questions, we did discuss it last month, but I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
I think last month we said you could just fill in until we did something else. Was that how I remember? That's all.
That is what we talked about, yep. Essentially, I was sort of, motion was for me to fill in on a temporary basis, basically until we did this.
Okay.
Until we had a more formal action.
Well, any volunteers? How about the chief and Spencer? One be the alert, one be the, for now. do I get a chance to talk to the firemen and see if we can find somebody there.
I'm happy to serve in any capacity needed.
Same.
So at least for the next month or so, how about we appoint Spencer and as the delegate and John Morrell, the alternate. Do the next, and then report back, we can report back to the board, then I'll try to, someone, maybe, anybody can contact a fireman or somebody, I guess it's mostly fire issue, medical issues, right?
Yeah, I believe they had, we had appointed someone last year, and again, I'm happy to do whatever.
Well, I believe that didn't work out, so told by East County. So let's make the change and move forward. I'd make a motion, we make those appointments. But somebody else has an idea, Tom, are you good with that?
Oh, no, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
So I'd make the motion, let's appoint them.
Oh,
Do we
okay,
need,
I'll second it.
yeah, we need a motion, right, Spencer?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Care.
Aye.
All right.
Discussion of a bid received for the 2026 4th of July fireworks display, followed by consideration of a motion authoring the township manager to execute a contract for services.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. So last month, we opened up the sealed bids for fireworks. We only had one bidder. The only bidding party was Zambelli, who's had our contract for the past 3 years. They bid for this year as well, for the next 3 years. The only real issue here is that essentially the justification, their pricing in 2026 is higher than 7 and 8. And the reason that it is because of the America 250. Essentially, they're saying that the demands for fireworks this year are greater than they've ever been. So that is the bid that we had received. Two things to Mrs. Smith's point. I do think that there is outside funding available potentially, not just in the form of grants, but potentially in the form of corporate partnerships. That is something that we are, at least in my office, actively looking for, because I do think that there is an opportunity there for, to defer this cost.
Good. Somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to
Thank
go
you.
with Sam Belly.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch you seconded.
Doug.
Oh, Doug.
Doug.
Okay.
Doug.
New business. Discussion regarding the establishment of a monthly farmers market held on one Saturday per month during the summer months, followed by consideration of a motion to establish the program.
Yes, so that's something we've been working on in our office. What we're looking to do is a monthly farmers market for, I believe we're looking at June, July, August, and September. Those would be, on a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it would be in the week in between when the leaf market, which is the market out in Frontier Park, which is very popular. They do it twice a month, and it would be the week in between. And that event would not cost the township anything. It's essentially just an opportunity. We felt that we could potentially host an event that would bring in people, both our community, but also showcase our community in a way that, maybe we haven't been before. That's the plan and the intention. And so we're still sort of in the ground, sort of building phase. But, we wanted to make sure before we got too far down this road that we had, talked to the board and got your feelings and given you the opportunity to ask any questions or discuss this.
Everybody good with that?
Yeah, so we talked about a couple different locations, and actually one of the things that we had really been talking about was potentially having it in Lake Cliff at the park. And the reason being is simply primarily because nothing happens at that park. There's never any scheduled events down there. And the thought process, we're not talking about a ton of vendors. We don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. We're talking about 10 to 15 vendors, in pop-up tents, 10 by 10 tents. And then the other thing to mention too is, the way we're drawing it up right now is we're looking for vendors that really are local. We're not trying to, cater to, national companies or, even statewide companies. The intention is really to target, local vendors, local farmers, and give them the opportunity to come down to Lawrence Park and then give the people of Lawrence Park the opportunity to, have a different event.
Like any discussion, questions you want to ask?
Is there an application process for this?
We're setting it up right now. We have, I would call it 80% of an application process ready to go. I think we could make that live as soon as tomorrow, depending on, whether there was support for this.
Any inclusion into maybe some local gardeners in the backyard that could bring over a giant tomato and show it off?
I don't see why not. I don't.
Short one.
Maybe
Be a short
incorporate
one.
the playground, like, could that be open up the pump house and bring out the box hockeys? I mean, just tossing it out there that it could be,
I'm very much,
Yeah. About it.
I'd be happy to go down to the pump house and clean it out, and straighten it out and.
yeah, for my part,
Yeah.
I am very welcoming to volunteers, and for this and really for anything that, if I've not said it before, I'll say it right now. If you are willing to volunteer for this township for anything, we welcome, that's.
Talk to you about that. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
I have a motion to accept.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. All right. Discussion regarding the township's non-uniform pension plan. Okay, conduct a proposal, conduct a feasibility study, considering reducing the vesting required from 10 years of service to 5 years of service. My question is why?
So essentially, employee, asked me, whether or not we would consider this. There's multiple reasons, that were, sort of presented. One being that it may attract additional employees. But ultimately for me, for my purposes, I am, administratively, generally, I would say that I talked to, our individual that works at Acrisure today. Works with so they're a pension, trustee, administrator. Yeah, administrator. I did speak to them today, on the phone about this issue. She said that they would be happy to conduct a study like that, but she did say that there would potentially be a cost, and in her words, that cost would potentially come to the township, not necessarily out of the pension, because we would be looking at a material change to the pension plan.
It's my understanding you cannot take the money out of the pension plan to
That's what I mean.
pay for that study.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That cost would be borne by the township. Now, just to, again, for my part, administratively, looking at a 10-year versus a 5-year vest, there are advantages and disadvantages to both. 10-year vest essentially is an incentive to an employee to stick around longer. There is a major added benefit for that. The other issue with a 5-year vesting is essentially that, you run into the possibility that we could have a whole slew of people that vest quickly, and are potentially eligible for a benefit. That benefit would be smaller naturally if they don't work as long. However, having more people, potentially vested in the pension plan could, be administratively burdensome. Again, these are all things that could be evaluated by a study if we choose to do one. But again, there would be some cost associated with doing a study like that.
Did you get an estimate on cost?
No, and I literally, I had emailed her a couple weeks ago about this, and I had not gotten an email back, so I called today, and I did not get an estimate on the cost. Judging off, I can roughly estimate it because we've asked them to do other studies in the past. Those studies have been anywhere from $700 to $1,500. So, that's an estimate based on past studies. The township has done, feasibility studies of different things that we're sometimes required to do.
I have a question for you. Is that just non-uniform? Because the uniform is 12 years for vesting.
Correct.
Is that just only talking?
Yeah,
about
this is only not.
reducing it for non-uniform? Okay.
You do have a contract, CBA coming up this year, correct?
Correct, yes.
I don't want to cause that issue. What's wrong with the way it is?
Again, the question just came to me. I would not say that there is anything wrong with the way it is currently.
Well, this is coming from where? The non-uniform.
Sure, yeah.
Well, when they were employed,
Mhm.
were they aware that it was a 10-year vesting program?
I would assume so, yeah.
I'm not in favor of spending any money on it at all. Anybody else wants to talk about it, they can. But it makes no sense to me.
You've done a lot of studies with some of the other townships. What's the average as far as investment goes across the state of
Yeah, so
Pennsylvania?
for municipal government, 10 years is actually, municipal and federal government, 10 years is the industry standard. That is not the case in private. In the private sector, there's lots of organizations that'll do a 5-year vest. But in the public sector, 10 years is normal. So the federal government's 10 years, state is 10 years, county is 10 years, and most other municipal governments are 10 years. The outliers are I actually haven't found it. I'm not aware of any municipalities that do a 5-year vest.
Just doesn't seem like a smart move with all the training that you would have. But it seems like it would create more of a turnover.
That would be my main concern. My primary concern would be, if we were to change this plan, it would be, you generally don't make changes to a pension plan, for a small amount of time or for a select number of employees. That change would affect future hires as well and could result, certainly in additional turnover, having to only commit 5 years to receive the major benefit that governments have. Because really one of the primary benefits that a government has, whether it's a small government or a big government, that differentiates it from the private sector is the other benefits. We usually don't pay as much, but we have, those other associated benefits like pension programs and good health insurance and those sorts of things. And so, generally speaking, we want to try to retain employees, and the 10 years is an incentive to do that. Again, the question was asked, and I wanted to make sure I was being fair and presented that question, for your consideration.
And it wouldn't be retroactive for any past employees, obviously.
Generally not. That is the one thing that makes this question a little more, administratively, who would get this benefit? Would it just be future hires, or would it be the current employees? Or, these are a lot of unanswered questions that we could have.
Can of worms.
This is a discussion. There's no motion for this tonight.
There does not need to be. Again, if you wanted to make a motion, you can motion to table, you can motion to, you don't have to though. This is just a
Let's
discussion.
not kick the can down the road.
Mhm.
I would make a motion to leave it the 10-year investment as it is.
I would second that.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay. Done. No, well, we'll discuss this later. I mean, it's. No, I'm not at all. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if their employee wants to leave. That's,
Nobody has said that to me. So
okay. That was my only concern. All right, action items. Consideration of a resolution 2026-15 establishing a permitting process and fee assessment for the use of township facilities.
Yeah, so we do have an ordinance on the books that allows the township to set, fees associated with renting, as well as like a permitting process. We ran into some issues. So, to back up a little bit, we had a safety committee meeting, earlier this month that was very productive. And out of that safety committee meeting, one of the things that was discussed were events that had been held in the township in the past that were not permitted. So we never, asked organizations to have a permit to hold those events. And that resulted in safety issues, and lack of manpower. And one of the things that we are looking to do here is establish a policy that just essentially, if I had to boil it down to its simplest form, if someone is asking for exclusive use of a township facility for a day, we would ask that they would remit some kind of a payment for that and fill out a permit application for that, which is something that we would create.
We can have a schedule as to
That's the
if you
plan.
rent this versus that.
That's the plan.
Okay.
So the plan right now is we are the only municipality in East County that does not charge for renting of things like pavilions. We have no charge associated with that. It's first come, first serve, which this policy is written would not undo that. Would still be first come, first serve unless you wanted exclusive use of it for an entire day. So if you wanted to rent our facility for the whole day, we are looking to enforce a policy that would, require folks to actually, apply for that. Because, again, I could cite several examples, but in my short summer here, I started July 1st to September, we had at least 4 different issues of folks using the parks and doing things in the parks that we would not permit if we had the ability to, but right now we don't have a rule on the books deciding what we can and can't permit. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Any motion on that?
Yes, sir.
All right,
I'll motion that we.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to establish a hometown heroes banner program at no cost to the township.
Yeah, just talk about this. This is something people have been asking me since I started, and I know that it's come before this body in the past. Hometown hero banners are now pretty ubiquitous. Westville has them, Girard has them, Union City has them. There are several places that institute them, but it's a way to honor veterans in your community by essentially recognizing them. And those are those light pole or telephone pole banners. We have already worked with the Historical Society to come up with a way to implement that program, as well as a potential design for the banners. Any cost, how these programs are usually administered is that any cost associated with the banner, as well as the brackets for the banner, is usually taken on by the person who's ordering it, right? So the township does not necessarily pay anything for this, except in our manpower to take the orders and give them to the company.
What about installation?
Yeah, we also would be looking to install for sure. Yeah. And then, the other part of it too is designating which streets first. One of the issues that came up in the past when this issue was being discussed is, the permitting process through Penelec. There is a process to do that. You have to get permission from Penelec to use their poles. It's not that hard. That we can do. And then the second part of it, though, would be asking Public Works to hang these up if we do this program.
Those are ones I've seen around with the service members. And
Yes.
stuff. I'll make a motion to do that.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to authorize the township manager to execute an agreement with E2 Solutions to implement an online payment portal and automated parking enforcement solution in line with resolution 2026-10 and 2026-11. Okay, what is that?
Yeah, so, when we passed resolutions 2026-10 and 2026-11, those were just stating that, it's our goal to institute a online payment platform so people can pay, especially things like parking tickets online. That is the way, most municipalities, cities, are moving. And the primary benefit to this is really one of actual cost savings and man-hour savings. So I kind of did some math on this just to really give everybody, an understanding of this process. Currently, parking enforcement is administered internally by the township under a very traditional system. So it's handwriting and hand spreadsheets. Managing parking tickets right now requires up to 30 hours a week of administrative work. And that's all borne by our police officers. At their hourly rates, that's almost $62,000 worth of their work that they are spending. And this is not writing tickets. This is just administering them on the back end. And so, this is an opportunity not just to frankly save, we would be paying a vendor, but we would be saving man hours more than anything else. In short, adopting the system would allow the township to reduce administrative costs while returning police officers to their core public safety duties instead of sitting in an office doing parking tickets. There is still an administrative component, which our office would do. We would take payments from folks that want to pay in person, or they want to pay in cash. We would still do that at the admin office, which is one of the things that was resolution 2026-11. Because there is still that segment of people that would want to pay in person or in cash, but anybody who's paying online, as well as the actual issuing of the tickets, as well as the citation process, would all become automated, which would essentially free up the officer's time greatly.
I figure that's good with the chief.
I am elated if we can do this.
Okay, we want to make a motion to do that? I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Motion to authorize the township manager to work with the township engineer to determine a cost-effective multi-year strategy to address sewer and road maintenance issues, including the evaluation of all possible service options.
Sorry, I'm talking so much, but.
I should have brought a bottle.
Yeah, sorry. One of the things we budgeted for was road maintenance, and then we also have a sizable budget for, sewer maintenance. I would essentially, currently, the cost of doing those repairs is far outpacing leaving that money in any kind of a bank account. So what I would say is that we should, devise a strategy, a multi-year strategy that we can look at long-term to repair township roads and to address township sewer issues. And that includes evaluating any possible, service options or possible alternatives to how we maintain and operate our sewer system or our roads. That's just something that I'd like to work with the engineer on. There is likely to be engineering costs associated with those conversations, which again is something we budgeted for, but it's something I wanted to make sure we had a discussion about before I started talking to the engineer about it. Yes.
So if there was like some type of equipment or PM program to install, and there was a significant cost to it, you'd be working with the engineer, but then it would be brought before the board.
Oh, yeah.
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 Okay, still.
Yeah. We're not, two separate things. This is to come up with a strategy,
Right.
And then the second part of it would be executing that strategy. And that part of it would, come back to the board for approval to essentially spend that money.
You good?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, you're good with that?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Authorize to authorize the township manager to work with the township engineer to prepare and submit initial application for the Green Light Go grant program.
The application itself doesn't cost anything, but this is in that same vein, where it's, it requires, the application requires an engineer, to sign off on it. And the preliminary application did not require that, so I was able to submit that without the engineer. But now that we've been accepted in that second round, to evaluate this potential program, I would have to work with the engineer. And right now I don't have a specific cost for that. It would just be, whether or not I can work with the engineer to really get a quote for what it would cost, to have them work to, fill out that application.
You said there was something already submitted on that?
I submitted a preliminary application that the state has to accept, and that does not cost anything. I didn't have to work with the engineer to do that.
When was that?
So I mentioned that, I think it was back in November or December.
Okay.
So I submitted that just to determine whether or not the township might even be eligible to submit an application. That's how that
Yeah,
works.
I guess I wasn't aware of it back in November. I missed that part. But I have a problem with it.
And again, the part of the goal, what I was talking about earlier, is to look at whether or not the township can feasibly have the state of Pennsylvania pay for new lights, new traffic signals. That's
Sort of what you were talking about earlier with Rick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Favor?
Aye.
Okay. I do think we're gonna enter an executive session, but I don't think any action results out of it.
We can adjourn.
So we could adjourn.
Yeah,
Yes.
like we did last month.
Yeah.
Okay, let's adjourn the meeting at 6:52.